These are self-explanatory keywords. You don't have to write paragraphs to explain this particular keyword. You can write this keyword and you can move ahead with your answer writing. Again, lack of fiscal empowerment is an important dimension which I identified after going through the PYQs. I have an introduction for that. Okay, article 1. I started with articles. So wherever you can start. Polity answers, make sure that you start with articles. Even if you know all the constitutional articles, you need to, the examiner will not know what all you know, right? You have to actually put it down in your answer for the examiner to know that you actually know it. Wherever you get the opportunity to write articles, you must write articles. Hello everyone, I'm Sreelakshmi. I've cleared UPSC Civil Service 2023. In this video, I'll be explaining you how to make GS2 specific one-pager notes. Now, importance of one-pager notes, I've already covered in my previous videos. One-pager notes are very handy when it comes to revision phase of your preparation, right? When you have every dimensions covered of a particular micro theme in one page, it's very, very convenient for your revision, okay? Fast, last-minute revisions. Now, I'll be actually showing you some examples related to GS2 here. So the first picture which you can see here is a list of keywords. Now, Indian polity, especially that particular subject of GS2, is a technical subject. Okay, you need to use some technical words, polity specific keywords that needs to be included in your answer. You cannot write in your own language, in your layman language, right? So specific keywords that needs to be used. For example, constitutionalism, federalism, temple of democracy, democratic mandate, tyranny of the unelected, executive supremacy, rule of law. So these are terms which we generally do not use in a normal day-to-day life, right? These are polity-specific keywords, which actually makes your answer look very technical, right? So these keywords must be added in your answers. So I have a list of keywords like that, so that, see, one thing is you have the conceptual clarity and you write it in your own words. You must actually not do that. You must actually use those keywords which are mentioned in the constitution or which makes your answer more polity specific, right? Again, avoid miscarriage of justice. It gives a very, these are self-explanatory keywords. You don't have to write paragraphs to explain this particular keyword. You can write this keyword and you can move ahead with your answer writing, right? Again, federal bridging institutions. You just have to write this. You don't have to write that institutions which help in, bringing the states together. This actually consumes a lot of time and it is a wastage of, your energy as well. So you just have to write federal bridging institutions. Example, Niti Aayog, right? Principles of subsidiarity. Again, you can add these kind of keywords. So I have a list of keywords. Now I know that when I write polity answers, articles, constitutional articles are very, very, very important. There is no compromise on that, right? So I have all the important, a list of important articles which I can use across my answers. Like if I have something related to election, I can write a point on Election Commission of India, and in the bracket I can actually add article 324 of Election Commission of India, right? So I have a list of articles like that. Finance Commission. Now I know that, when it comes to anything related to fiscal federalism, any question related to that, I can actually add finance commission there anywhere in my answer, and in the bracket I'll write the article as well. Do not miss a chance to write articles of a particular um a body or anything, right? Again, interstate council, very important when it comes to cooperative federalism type of questions, or federalism in general. I can add interstate council 263 article number, right? You must actually show, it's not that even if you know all the constitutional articles, you need to, the examiner will not know what all you know, right? You have to actually put it down in your answer for the examiner to know that you actually know it. So this is what, so wherever you get the opportunity to write articles, you must write articles, right? Again, here. So I've listed down everything here. So this is my last minute revision purpose, right? This particular. And I can actually make such kind of notes for important judgments, Supreme Court judgments, important committees where I can add. like Sarkaria Commission, Punchi Commission. So these are like, I can use it across my answers, multiple answers, right? So I can make a list of that as well. Now, here, parliamentary government versus presidential government. This is a probable important micro theme that could be asked. So I've divided the page. I've made a tabular form. In a tabular format, I have written down all the provisions. Like for parliamentary government, I have written these provisions, for presidential provisions. Then UPSC goes one step ahead of analyzing parliament government and presidential government. So merits and demerits are important. So I've added merits, demerits in the second page I've added, right? Again, another important micro theme. Constitution of India, federal in structure, unitary in spirit. I have an introduction for that. Okay, Article 1. I started with articles. So wherever you can start. Polity answers, make sure that you start with articles. Okay. Again, Article 1, I have written down all the federal features, all the unitary features here. Right? Local bodies, a very important theme. If I'm starting my introduction, I will start with 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment, which actually introduced local self-government into the Constitution. Right? It was not there in the original Constitution. Right? So I'll start my introduction with it. I don't have to waste my time thinking about introductions. Here, again, lack of fiscal empowerment is an important dimension which I identified after going through the PYQs. All right. So lack of fiscal empowerment, I have written down all the important points under that. Like, for example, collection of property tax, it's very minimal, only 0.2% of the GDP, right? A lot of states have not set up the state finance commissions. Right? States are not ready to, devolve the functions and the powers to the local self-government. There is a reluctance to use fiscal powers. So I've written all the points under that. Okay. Now I've also realized that, and sources of finance is also an important thing because I need to mention that as a dimension in my answers. So I've written all the sources where all the local bodies get finances from. So I can, if I want, I can substantiate my arguments with these points as well. Right? Then, what are the drawbacks in local self-government? What are the issues? And way forward. Again, way forward, I have included the second ARC recommendations. Right? And a conclusion here. Here again, you can see I have quoted Article 40 of DPSP, which I felt was very similar to, or it is very closer to the local self-government, the grassroots democracy, which is the Gandhi's vision of village panchayat. So in order to fulfill that vision, you must tackle the issues and challenges with respect to the local self-governments. And I've also given the way forward. So this way you can try including the articles, and it gives a very good impact as well, right? Basic structure doctrine, another important micro theme. I have introduced it, added a article as well. Different types of basic structure that has been identified. It's a judicial innovation, right? It is not directly given in the Constitution. Supreme Court has come up with the term basic structure doctrine, the principles behind it, what all comes under basic structure doctrine, and the evolution of it. Okay, that is very, very important to know. Keshwananda Bharati case, it started, and till SR Bommai case, even uh, beyond that, different parts of the Constitution has been added in under the basic structure doctrine. Okay. Then limitations of basic structure doctrine, what can be done, that has been covered in this. Then next important micro theme is separation of powers. Again, a simple introduction for separation of powers, a diagram representing separation of powers and checks and balances. Right? Why separation of power is not applicable in India in its strict sense. This is a mains dimension. Again, identified after going through the PYQs. Right? Constitutional provisions for the separation of powers. It has been directly given in the syllabus, and it is very important. If you have a one pager, you're sorted for separation of powers. Right? All the constitutional provisions ensuring separation of powers I have listed down. Again, what is the checks and balances between legislative and executive, judiciary versus executive, judiciary versus legislature. So we do not follow separation of powers in its strict sense. Rather, we follow checks and balances, so that there is no tyranny of one particular organ of the government. Right? Again, different Supreme Court judgments regarding this particular thing. Again, a conclusion for separation of powers. 1 page, done. RPA. RPA is directly given in the syllabus. If you go through the PYQs, you will identify that, they generally ask you about the various disqualifications under RPA 1951. What are the remedies against those disqualifications? So that's what exactly I've done. Introduction, I've given 2 types of introduction here, which anyone can be used. Remedies against disqualifications. Okay, the backside picture is not included here, but I think you've got an idea as to what I'm trying to talk. Right? This is about Election Commission of India. Again, introduction introduced with the article. 324 is the article for Election Commission of India. I've started with that. Saying that Article 324 of the Constitution provides for an independent election commission for superintendence, direction, control of electoral roll and the conduct of elections in India. Simple introduction, no brainer. You don't have to waste your time thinking about some innovative introduction here, right? Conducts elections to which all? Parliament, Office of President, state legislatures, and Office of Vice President. Important. Composition is important here. Independence, right? What are the flaws? What are the powers and functions? These are the dimensions that I've identified, right? You don't have to do PhD on it. Again, significance, it's an important topic. So so significance has been asked in the context of Indian democracy, what it has done and what are the reforms proposed. So it's not that it is flawless, right? There are flaws. So there are reforms also which are proposed, right? Then by Election Commission, different types of reforms that needs to be undertaken. Then another important microtheme is self-help groups. Here again, introduction, simple introduction. What are the features? What are the functions? What are the significance of it? Okay. Women in SHG, it's an important dimension again, because most of the self-help groups is run by women, right? So 90% of the self-help groups. Then different examples I've included. What are the benefits to women empowerment? The Nari Shakti is a very important topic, right? It's a very hot topic. So benefits, challenges. What are the challenges, right? Again, subcategorized into capacity building, procurement, marketing, finance, stability. What are the recommendations? What are the social challenges faced by women? So these are the dimensions that needs to be covered. Again, civil service reforms and a very, very important micro theme. What are the constraints for it? For example, first one is mismatch between the positions and the skill sets, opposition to lateral entry, lack of employment opportunities in some areas, then attracting talent, okay, nurturing excellence. So these are generally this I have got after reading the Niti Aayog strategy for New India at 75 report. These were the constraints which were mentioned in that, and the way forward. How way forward? Recruitment wise, what can we do? Training wise, what can we do? Evaluation wise, how? And governance wise, what can we do? Okay, so civil service, you need to know a set of challenges for civil service, and you must also know the recommendations for it. Okay, and if you can quote Niti Aayog report, it gives a credibility to your recommendations as well. Right? Again, important micro theme is good governance. Here again, World Bank definition of what is good governance, the 8 principles of good governance by the United Nations. I've included them as well. Like after introduction, I can actually draw this diagram and make it a little interesting. Right? Initiatives for good governance. Here again, RTI, e-governance, examples also I have written, multiple examples, legal reforms that has been taken, ease of doing business, decentralization, police reforms. Okay, so initiatives are generally asked. Again, challenges to good governance. Okay, here again I have included the perception index data. Okay, the delay in justice. Then again, a conclusion. Another important term here is collaborative governance. Good governance is there, but as a way forward, you can include collaborative governance, which is a very new kind of governance where public sector and private players, along with civil societies, can actually work together for effective public service delivery. So you make the good governance much more better by including collaborative governance. Okay, all the stakeholders must work together to take the country ahead, right? So this is exactly what it is. Right? Then again, GS2 polity section. This is how you identify, go through the PYQs, identify the important microthemes, make a one-pager note for that, right? Then here again for IR, similar approach you can use. Bilateral relations are important, like India, Bangladesh. Just to show you a few examples. Introduction, you can quote. So generally, IR is a very current affair subject, right? Current affair rich subject. So you basically get 4 questions of IR, and those 4 questions are generally somewhere related. It's there in the news, right? So it could be, for example, this was made in 2021. So at that time, India Bangladesh was, marking, 2021 marks the golden justice of 1971, right? So that was why India Bangladesh bilateral relations were important at that time. So this is how I started the introduction with the recent context. Why is it in news, right? That's the best way to introduce for IR related answers, right? Again, areas of cooperation, all the areas of cooperation, very, very important. Try to include maps in international relations questions. Okay, just showing a different, if you can show the projects or not, it's okay. But try including, especially the neighboring countries, try including maps, right? So areas of cooperation, then challenges, way forward, and if there is anything, specific important things related to Bangladesh, you can include that as well. And what are the reasons for cooperation between India and Bangladesh? So basically, what could be asked? Areas of cooperation, challenges, and way forward. That's it, right? Then, this is another important micro theme of international relations, which is Quad. Introduced a simple introduction for Quad, or you can give a recent context, like, first ever summit level talks of Quad nations virtually held in this particular year. So that can also be done, or you can explain what is Quad. That can also be done, different kinds of introduction. Then, evolution of Quad. If asked, it's an important dimension. If asked, you can write it in this manner. Again, I have drawn a map here showing 4 different countries of Quad: India, Japan, US, and Australia. Okay, so it's like diamond democracies, right? Again, you can add, what are the challenges for it? What are the way forward? What are the key takeaways? So this was specifically related to that summit. So I've written in that manner. Key takeaways from the summit: significance of relations to China, benefits for India, negative impacts. Okay, so bilateral relations, this is how you can make areas of cooperation, challenges, uh, you know, what are the impact, what is the impact on India if there is something has happened. If it is an international organization, again, similar way, if summit has happened, what is the benefit for India? How can India benefit from this particular organization? What are the challenges? Okay, so these things can be covered as important dimensions. Once you go through the PYQs, you will identify them, right? So this is how you make notes, one-pager notes for GS2. If possible, try to cover, different dimensions by going through the PYQs. And I think that will make your life much easier. You can, streamline your preparation and will help you in precision, right? Precision of your preparation. So let me know if you want more such sessions. Thank you, everyone. All the best for your preparation.